Welcome to the Jock Podcast. There's three of us today.
You're really gonna do this?
Cheers!
Oh,
We
here
got cheers, all three. We got all different Disney characters.
Clan. Here we go.
Mini. We had to give our guests a mini mug. What are we doing?
I mean, look at him.
I picked it. Minnie couldn't take it from me.
Look at him.
I guess it's totally fitting.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so the non-Jock host in the room is Cary Miller. So Cary is a two-time Division I conference champ at App State wrestler, and IMAF world champ and world runner-up, and now professional undefeated heavyweight fighter and coach. But to us, I think why we have him on is not just those accolades. Well, they're great. Cary is leads the way in the room, so he's always, we'll get into it, but he's a leader in the gym. The way he carries himself, with his faith in fighting, and really just who he is as a person. So, Cary, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so if you look around at us, clearly one of us isn't the fighter. I don't know who it might be. It's me. Sorry for that. So when I hear you're a wrestler and now you do MMA, they sound like they might be in the same world, but I'm sure there's so many differences. So what's it like going from wrestling to now MMA?
So growing up, fighting is what I always wanted to do. Like when I was a kid, like most kids my age, you know, we saw on TV Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner going at it. And I was just like, I don't even know what that is, but all I know is those guys are so tough. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's all I wanted to do. Mom would have never had that. No way, no how. But what do you hear in all the interviews? What the guys say? If you want to be good at fighting, you should get good at
Wrestling.
Exactly. So I was like, all right. So I was like, that's the closest thing I can get. My parents will let me do that. So growing up, I started wrestling with that in mind. And it was also just, it was a way for me to make friends. And man, it was one of those things where I didn't think I had a lot that I was good at. And wrestling, I just had to, like, I'd roughhoused a lot growing up. And it was something where I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, this makes sense to me a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, just going throughout, like, my high school career, always, man, I think I watched so many more UFC fights than I ever did homework or anything. Yeah. And the whole time I was just thinking, like, man, it would be so cool if I was a fighter.
Yeah.
And then throughout college, it was always, it's every wrestler, it's on their mind. Whether they are gonna do it or not, it's always in their mind, right? And then post-college, it was just kind of a weird situation, right? It was COVID, right? The national tournament got canceled. It was like a week before we were supposed to leave. So it was, and then from there, like, all of us just are supposed to go home. Like, everything's online, like, kind of like the whole world kind of changed overnight.
Yeah.
And so I literally just went home to Greensboro, and I'm working out in my basement with the high school weight set that my dad got me.
There you go.
And I'm just like kind of killing time. I'm doing job interviews, but it's like it's not really something that I want to do, but I'm just doing it because I'm like, well, obviously I'm going to need money.
Yeah.
And then Paul, he was my training partner throughout college. Paul Carson. His brother, Chuck and Carson, had been training with Jeff for a
very
long
good
time.
fighter.
Very, very good. And he just told me, he was like, hey, bro, if you want, I can hook you up with Jeff. So from there, I talked to Jeff. Jeff's like, yeah, why don't you come down and try training? So I drove down. I did a workout with Jeff in IMPA. I think I drove down maybe like 2 more times, and man, I got whooped so bad, crying, like just absolutely demolished. Thought I was gonna die, even though IMPA was being super controlled. And it was just like, it was one of those things where right there, I made my mind up. I can't be terrible at this. I have to like at least somewhat be formidable in this. And every wrestler, I think, when you really take that first step in and try it, I think once you realize that you kind of suck at something, you just get that like, oh, no.
Yeah,
It can't end like that. That can't be the last one.
That can't be me.
And and wrestlers, you only really have 2 paths after college, right? You could just always just go to normal job, and plenty of people do that. You can go on like the RTC circuit. You can do tournaments. You can kind of work for a college. They'll give you a stipend. And then I can try to, make an Olympic run.
Okay.
And my coach talked to me about that, and he was like, buddy, you're good enough. Like, you could do it.
Yeah.
He said, and if you want, but I was like, man, he was like, coach, this is like the thing I wanted to do since I was a kid. I think I really want to try this.
Yeah. Yeah. So were you talking to when you started MMA, were you still like in touch, close with your wrestling coach?
So yeah, like Coach LeBlanc, he had helped me out a lot, and he was somebody I would kind of go to for advice.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably him and Cody Harrington.
Okay.
They were, and Cody had wrestled through college. He had fought a little bit, and he man, such a good guy. He kind of sat me down. And he was like, hey man, I just want to be real with you. Like, not everyone who fights is Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not everyone who fights makes $1 billion. So I was like, and he's like, bro, he's like, I'm not even saying you can't be good at this, but like, you might be Stipe Miocic, but this might not be your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and I said, look, I totally get that. I don't know if I'm gonna make a lot of money or not. I was like, the only thing I know is I really want to do this. And he was like, all right, well then you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just from there, just kind of after those kind of couple workouts and getting my butt whooped that bad,
Mm-hmm.
I moved everything I had, which wasn't a lot, up to Charlotte, and then I just kept getting closer and closer to the gym. And
So your move was for the gym. It was
100%.
Wow. That's the kind of level of commitment it takes to get where Cary's at now. So now you're at Gym O and you're training there. You move here, you move closer, you're training there. Now to see you, I know Cary very well. We punch each other a lot.
I punch him a lot.
So he punches me a lot, but we get into these practices. They're really hard. They're really gritty. And then I remember first meeting you. It was actually during COVID at Jeff's house,
Mm-hmm.
and we were doing sprints, and he can move. I was like, we pull up. I'm like this overgrown gorilla. And
Nick was 210 at the time.
I was heavy. But he can move, and I was like, dang. And then I was kind of expecting him to start fading at like 8, 9, 10, and you, I think, started gapping me. I'm like, all right, This guy's got it.
Nick burned everybody the first 2 to 3 sprints.
Yeah.
Then after that, it was a hard stop.
I was impressed with you. So then you're training at Gym O. We're all starting to get to know each other. And now today, several years later, you're in this role. And I don't know if you intentionally took it upon yourself to become this, but you're definitely in this leadership role now. Was that something that you planned on? Is this something that you look at in life and reflect a lot about? Or is this kind of something that naturally occurred through your discipline and work ethic?
So I would say like the best kind of leader is one that isn't necessarily appointed, right? I remember going through college a lot. Like college is such a tough thing, especially for young athletes, especially in a sport that is a team sport, but is also individually rewarded. It's a very tough thing. It's like I know plenty of people who were on a college team, but like didn't really like they didn't mess with the team. They're like, no, I'm just like, I'm here for me. They're like, I'll help if you need me to help, but I'm just here for me. Yeah. And I've seen plenty of people forced into a leadership role. Like they didn't, like literally the coach is like, all right, you're the leader now. Yeah. And they're like, this is a young adolescent. Like they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was team captain the last 2 years that I was in college. And man, I made so many mistakes. Yeah. But it was such a good learning experience. I mean, and obviously the one that sticks out the easiest one to point to is lead by example, right? If you are, coming in last in runs, if you're the one who's always kind of dragging with a bad attitude, like how are people supposed to follow you? Like you wouldn't want to follow you. Mm-hmm. So like you kind of have to be the leader that like you would follow. You got to think about somebody that inspires you, and you have to try to lead like that. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as was it intentional? I remember when I first came to the gym, I remember Impa Kasanganai. Mm-hmm. If you guys don't know Impa Kasanganai, well, you don't know fighting very well if you don't know him.
Oh, congratulations this weekend.
Yeah.
Really nice finish. Yeah.
Man, but that guy was just like definition of a leader and a definition of lead by example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that like he really inspired me. Mm-hmm. So it was honestly like, that was kind of like my basis of like what I wanted to look like as a leader, or like being that kind of voice in the gym. But I knew, number one, I had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I also, like, from there, like, that was a long time ago, man. Like, we met at Jimmo, what, 6 years ago?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. So like, plenty of things happened since then, and I was like, I don't know, like, exactly where this kind of path is going. But I think this was about a year ago now. I made up my mind, right? Because, you know, everybody comes and goes at the gym, and I really thought that we needed one direction, and we needed someone to realize what an incredible place that place is. It wasn't like we needed some incredible person for every. It was literally, we needed someone to kind of be an advocate for the environment, and because it's one of those, if you just come up in a gym like that, you can kind of take it for, and I've taken that gym for granted plenty of times, right? And then you go and you travel a little bit, you go to other places, and then you see the kind of coaches they have, or the lack of equipment they have, or just the lack of community in other places. Then you're like, wow, this is an incredible place.
Yeah.
And so I wanted the gym to be able to go in that direction. And I knew there was only, because there was, like, throughout the last 6 years, I've had plenty of things going on that weren't fighting. And I've tried to split my time. Like I tried coaching high school, I tried coaching middle school, you know, doing other jobs and stuff like that. I'd never left fight, but it was definitely like, you know, how many things can you hold in your hands at once?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So then from there, I realized, number one, I was like, okay, if I'm going to be a leader, I need to be here.
Yep.
I just, like, there's no way around that. You have to be there. So I made up my mind. I was like, all right, I'm going to try the team practices, as many of them as I can make. Even when last year, when I dislocated and fractured my shoulder, you know, messed with my ankle, I was like, okay, you need to be there as much as you can. You can't make an impact if you're not there. So I definitely was having that thought in my mind going forward. Now, the other thing that I really tried to focus on, like something that really inspired me, the book Extreme Ownership by Jock that had a really big impact on me. The first chapter of that book, you open it up, Jocko talks about how they had a blue on blue. Essentially, his guys got in a firefight with his own guys, and somebody got killed. Right? And Jocko had lined everybody up, all of his command staff, and went around the room and was like, okay, guys, let's find out whose fault is this. And he just called out the room. Tell me whose fault this is. Radio operator steps up. It's my fault. Like, I should have been more on it with the communication between the group. And he's like, nope, not your fault. Whose fault is it? Staff sergeant steps up, says, well, you know, if I had, you know, briefed my guys better before. He's like, nope, not your fault. Right. And he goes around the whole room. Everybody keeps trying to step up. He's like, no, it's not your fault. And he's like, guys, tell me, whose fault is this? And eventually they get to the point, they're like, whose fault is it? We don't know. And he says, this is my fault. He said, anything that happens out there, that's on me. And that's a big risk to take.
Oh, yeah.
In the position he's at. Like, the guy's been in the military for a long time. Like that is his, like, career.
Yeah.
And you could very easily lose it from something like that. Now, he had kind of just built up a pretty good credibility, and people knew he had integrity. So they're like, all right, make sure this doesn't happen again. That was a huge risk for him to take. But because he took that risk, everybody that was under his command had the utmost respect for him.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, okay, this is in a game where most of the time this is a finger pointing game. He pointed at himself. He took responsibility himself. And I, man, that had a big impact on me. And I realized, I was like, okay, I think that's the best thing you can do as a leader is be humble. Right. And it doesn't mean you can't call people out. It doesn't mean that you can't come down. But, like, man, if you're going to call somebody out, you better be willing to call yourself out too.
Yeah.
And I think rather than, like, and also just as Christians, like, God doesn't look at us to look down on other people. He expects us to do the opposite. He's like, you should look at them as you guys are all the same. None of you are better than anybody else. And I think coming at it like that as a leader, not only will make you step your game up, but also I think that gives people the way and the platform to let them step up, or to let them be like, okay, I've made mistakes, but everyone makes mistakes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And just kind of coming at it with that mindset, I think can really make a big impact on people. And I think even better than that is that makes room for other leaders.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like since I made that kind of that switch in my mind, like, okay, I got to be here.
Yeah.
If I'm going to lead, I got to be here.
Yeah.
Then we've had other people step up and lead, right? And it's like from there, the more like the more people like that, the more you raise the room.
Yeah.
The more like tight bonds you have between people, the more people hold each other accountable.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because in GMO, I really feel like you could take a lot of these guys, and if they were to go into another gym for a couple weeks, cross train, whatever, I feel like they would naturally develop like organically as the leader of that room.
100%.
Like I really do feel like we have a room full of leaders, and for you to be, you are looked up to by multiple people in the room. Just to, give you guys some insight here, Cary, like this is all of life. I get in some jams sometimes because I bite off more than I can chew at my company, and I call Cary, and I know, like, Cary literally tells me, hey, I honestly have plans, but like, how bad do you need me? And I'm not gonna lie, I feel bad sometimes, but there's been like one time where, like, honestly, man, I really need your help right now. And drops everything, arranges everything. It's crazy. And then another time he's on site somewhere and I threw him to the wolves. Like, it was a hard job. I was,
easy money. Hey, it's going to be 3 hours.
Easy,
no problem.
And Cary calls me and he tells me the problem. I'm like, oh man, he's like, don't worry, we'll find a way. And I was like, dang, this guy just holds it down.
Yeah.
Just holds it down. So like what you're doing in the gym, and like you said, like as a Christian, as your foundation, that goes through life completely. Any situation you're going to be in life, you have that as your foundation. So I think John is, after discussing you and like talking about who you are, John's come up with some really good questions.
So one on that was, like, we talk about it a lot on the podcast, of when you're having a bad day, it's important when you have your foundation and you have all this built, you still have to show up everywhere. You still have to show up at home. You still have to show up at work. You still have to be here. How do you take those leadership qualities on days where, one, stuff outside of the gym might be not going great, and then also maybe at the gym, maybe you're getting hit, you're getting your ass kicked, whatever it is. Like, how do you still lead on those days?
Yeah.
So I think number one, because I used to be the kind of person where I had a bad day, everything's bad.
Yeah.
Like, if I had a bad day at practice, and that could even just be as simple as like a coach wasn't happy with me that day, then literally the rest of the day, man, everybody get out of my way. Don't talk to me. Like, I don't want to do anything the rest of the day. I don't care about what responsibilities at. Like, I've just had it. This is a bad day. I've had all this, like, and I like in college, fortunately I realized, okay, that's 100% mental weakness. And then on the flip side of that, you don't want to waste a bad day. Because, Nick, how many times have you showed up for a competition and you just weren't 100%?
Yeah, plenty of times.
So once I finally, and I didn't come to that quickly. That was, I had people help me. My coach really had to stay on me about, like, hey, like, I know you don't feel good, but like, you have to get the job done. And he was like, this is an opportunity to practice while you don't feel, and taking it like that, it's like, okay, I don't feel good. Let me see what my best is today. Making every day, like, you can't be your best every day. You just can't. Oh, and I will, maybe if you decide to only practice twice a week and you sleep 12 hours before everything's on, like, yeah, maybe you could, but you're only going to get so much better. But just committing to you can't be your best every day, but you can do your best and your best is going to be different every day, right?
Mhm.
You get older, you get injuries, right?
Yeah.
You got a billion other things. You have to go to 15 other jobs before you come to the gym, right? That's going to be different every time, but you will know if you gave a full effort. If you really sit down, you'll know if you gave a full effort. And that's what you can reward yourself with afterwards.
Yeah.
There's one thing Cary said to me one time that humbled me at the gym. I came in, we were working. It was a hard practice. It may have been like a Friday, I don't know. But I was injured, and I was, I kind of used it as a scapegoat. And then, I don't know if I was using it as an excuse of why I'm performing, whatever the case may have been. But Cary looked at me like dead serious and was like, Nick, everybody's hurting. Everybody's injured. We all have something. And I felt like such a pansy. But honestly, that's what I needed to hear. It's like, you're right. Like, everybody's got a story. Every single one of us, like, this isn't who I want to be. Mm-hmm. That's that leadership quality that you have that, is just.
I believe I also told you, it might have not been that, but I've also told you, Nick, I know you, and I know even you, injured, tired, and not 100%, can beat just about everybody.
I appreciate it.
Well, with that mindset.
Not
so
me,
I've seen
obviously not me.
Of course.
Almost.
Two of you could not beat me.
If John goes on my shoulders, we may have a shot. Mega Jock, Jock.
I think you would have a better shot if it was just John.
Oh, that's nice. He goes from a really nice compliment to just
That's how you downplay.
Digging a hole.
So on that, Jimmo is very competitive. If it seems like every fight I see that as Jimmo fighters, they're putting up a hell of a fight, right? So being in that atmosphere with a bunch of incredible fighters and the talent level is insane, does that help? Like, especially you've been on the newer side of it, being at Jimmo. Does that help build confidence? Can it scare people away? Like, what is that like being with a ton of incredible talent?
It'll do both, because there have been plenty of days you go in there and you have a good day. You're like, man, I had a good day in a room like this. Like, I'm the man. I have gone in there and I have wanted to literally, okay, I quit. I'm the worst fighter in the world. Yeah. I'm not going to go do this. I literally, before the world championship, I remember Brandon Holmes gave me such a bad day that I literally texted the guy who was going to go with me to coach me. And I was like, hey, I don't think I'm doing this tournament.
Oh, snap.
No, and your mind will play games on you like that. It really will. You have to hold to, and you have to remember the fact that it's a tough room, and the fact that you're not going to win every time is a good thing. It's because I was somebody who was so focused on winning in practice. That was always my goal. I want to win in practice. And honestly, my goal was I want it to be easy. I want to dominate in practice. It's different wanting to dominate, but like put yourself through the ringer to do it. And man, I remember through college, there were plenty of match days, right? You do 3 live matches. There were plenty of match days where I really didn't get that tired. And I had my plans, right? It was like, because everybody. Okay, all right, I'll get 2 takedowns in the first period. After the second takedown, then I'll work for a turn. Yeah. It was just, I made it a very, very safe environment. And the one thing with combat sports, when you're competing, it does not feel safe. Yeah. And it shouldn't. And I remember my coach, like I said, LeBlanc had a serious impact on me, but he was just like, he's like, you don't challenge yourself that much. And he was like, don't get me wrong. He said, you check the boxes. You go to all the practices, right? You practice hard. But he was like, there's a difference between practicing hard and getting out of your comfort zone and getting challenged. He was like, if you want to feel more comfortable out when it's challenging, make your training challenging. Like, find ways. He was like, get creative. He's like, go for 1,000 takedowns. Exhaust yourself at the start, so then you have to practice. Coming at it with that mindset of, okay, my job today is to do and plenty of times, even yesterday, there were plenty of rounds when I was like, oh man, I'm not looking as good as I'm supposed to. You got to snap yourself out of that. Hey, your job isn't to look good. Your job is to do your best. That's going to look different every time, but the effort shouldn't. Your effort should look the same every time. Your effort should be full and complete.
Mm.
And if you can focus on that, you focus on complete effort and just staying in the moment, right? Like you can worry about whether, and you should worry about afterwards. Okay, did I do good? Was I technically correct? When you come at it with that, I think you leave yourself a lot of room to grow. And then you don't I spent a lot of time competing, getting in my own way.
Mm.
Yeah. When you compete with that, with just like my job is to go do my best.
Yeah.
Whether I'm dominating this round, that doesn't mean you chill out the rest of the round. Your job's to do your best.
Mm-hmm.
Or whether you're just getting smashed. Okay, I've been on bottom for, 4.5 minutes. Like there's 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Like, I'll recover for the next, I'll come back harder the next round.
Yeah.
But that's not your job. Your job is, okay, my job is to do the absolute best I can do in this round. I have to keep moving.
So you take this to such a granular scale because in training, I hear you say all the time, like when you're under somebody, you're getting the crap beat out of you and you're tired. It's very hard to imagine yourself getting up sometimes. And what Cary always says is next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you take this all the way down. Yeah. And it's amazing because honestly, it makes such a difference. It's hard to explain, but if you're on the cage and you have someone's weight on you and you've been going against three fresh guys or his weight on you, but you're getting beat, to think about like getting up, it could be mentally exhausting. But to think like, all right, all I got to do is the next best thing. I just need to be 1% in a better position than I am right now. All right, now I'm here. Now another 1%, 3%, whatever. Like you really live this lifestyle. Do you ever feel now that you are this leader and everybody's starting to look to you? Because I see it in the room. It's when it's time to break down practice, everyone's kind of looking for Cary. Like, all right, and if Cary's not there, it's kind of like the look around like, all right, who's doing it today? So now that you have these people looking at it, or looking at you as this leader, do you feel any sense of pressure, obligation, or is there this kind of thought that's there, like you have to fulfill this role, or is it something you've just kind of already set yourself up for?
There's no thought in a negative way about it, if that makes sense. Like the thought is like, I promise you what's in my mind is all of my teammates, I feel like I have the best teammates in the world. Like those are guys who would ride or die, who would literally die for me, who would drop anything to help me. And the only thought I have in my head is like, I have to be the best I can be for my team. Like I owe my teammates nothing less. I owe the gym nothing less. And so any kind of thought of pressure, it's not like, okay, I need to win because of my team. Or it's I need to do my best because my team's like, you're not the only one going through stuff. Like anytime I've come there with the thought of like, my life is hard, I'll like, after practice, you're tired, you sit down next to each other, you kind of check in with each other. It's one of the nice parts of practice. And then you'll hear somebody tell you something going on in their lives and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I was thinking before this that like my stuff isn't fair, or like it's like, wow, you just did the same practice I did, and you have that going on.
Yeah.
So it's instead of like being like, like gotta do this for the team, it's literally like, no, like I have to, like I get to do this for the team. Like my team's here. Like forget everything else, put everything aside.
Well, it's also like that's a good point because then that hits on like fighting on paper is literally an individual sport, right? It's Cary Miller versus this person. It's Nick Rodriguez versus this person. But when you're looking at it from this lens, it's if you're in my corner or even if you're at the gym, you're also taking so much pride when I want to fight or when we're practicing or you're going through things in life. Like that kind of eliminates the individualness from the fight.
Yeah. Before you get to those real quick, I know we're on a time crunch, but I do want to ask you this. Everybody loves winning, right? It feels great to win. Who doesn't want to win the fight? That's what we're training, but it's really not the goal. And when somebody can understand that, that's I think you're really going to get more out of fighting. How much do you emphasize the process opposed to the result?
Man, I've spent most of my athletic career only worried about winning. I have done my best when I have focused on the process. And man, it's like some people can just focus on winning and it works for them. Every athlete is different. I think for the most part, when you get an athlete to focus on the process of getting better, getting sharper, getting tougher, learning how to just compete as hard as they can, you're always going to get a better result from that.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's different. Some people genuinely feel better when they're like, no, I have to go out there and I have to win. That is not me. And you think about kids, that's a lot of pressure for a kid. To think that their love of their family is determined on whether they win or lose. Like, that would just be a terrible feeling the whole time.
Yeah. Sounds like you're kind of talking about like being a dad. And is there anything you want to share with the Jocksters?
So, for you guys who don't know, soon I'm joining the dad squad. Not as soon as this guy, but yeah, I'll be in the same club soon enough. And man, wow, it's funny. Like, you grow up and you hear people being like, yeah, like it changes you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it changes. Man, it's already, and from what I hear, they're like, just wait till you hold the baby. They're like, then it, like he said, I've heard it's like night and day. Already has changed me. So I can't even imagine how much it's gonna do when I hold the baby. But man,
yeah, when it gets like, we're 8 weeks away. When it gets closer and closer, we had some friends of ours. They had a baby right before us, and the baby and his mom came over recently. And I was looking at the baby like, I cannot wait to be holding my baby, But yeah, that's huge news. Boy, girl, don't know. Just kind of, you want to know?
For sure want to know. I got a feeling it's going to be girl, but yeah, we a friend of mine, I won't say who, told me that the at-home tests work, so I might go try it.
Ours was accurate. And Claire did 3 of them, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, Claire did
gender tests?
Yeah, Claire did like 5 to 7 pregnancy tests. But
yeah, that's expensive.
So I'm sure as you're preparing to have a child, you're starting to think about a lot of things in life. Finances and fighting. It's a real thing. How, to everybody listening who is fighting, do you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to say about, because let's be honest, your friend, who was the guy you spoke of earlier that you wrestled with in college that told you not everyone's Conor McGregor?
Cody Harrington.
Cody knows what he's talking about, because even a lot of successful fighters, that essentially you're getting an opportunity and then you build off of that platform. So you really need to prepare yourself financially. Is this something that's kind of going through your head? I know you are a workaholic and you set yourself up with a lot of different jobs. You're doing camps now, right? I believe so.
You want a camp? Let me know.
And Cary's available for one-on-one training, right? But is there any advice you can give to the guys at our gym, other gyms, on just fighting takes so much.
It does.
How do you balance? Is it balance? I know, like, you're around the clock. Like, anything you have on that?
I mean, I would say if you're too balanced, for the longest time, I feel like the thing I wanted was, I just didn't want problems. I just didn't want to, or have to like I don't mind doing hard stuff, but it's like, I don't want to have to do too. It's like, really, it's like, as a Christian, as a man, and you just need to be like, instead of wishing for no problems, wish for being good at solving problems. Wish for don't wish for a lighter load. Wish for a stronger back. And
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one in his pocket.
Yeah. And it's like, as far as advice to other people, like, everybody's different. Everyone has different skill sets. Some people come into fighting, they save money, or they set themselves up. I jumped headfirst into it without doing any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like I've made every mistake you possibly can, going to Thailand to train, but doing it all on credit cards and having to pay that off. Like thinking that winning an IMAF World Championship would, give me a straight shot to like a big organization and big check, which it does not. But man, I've learned so much, especially from my friend. I've learned a lot from you, as much as, like, he's the worst, but I've learned a lot from Nick. I've learned a lot too from my friend Diego, and just about, number one, how to hustle, how to just work hard, but two, how to set yourself up. Like it's one thing to work really hard. It's another thing to try to get paid well for your time. And like time is going to be the most valuable thing that you have. So then having to like kind of learn how, don't be too satisfied with what you have. Like keep kind of pushing for a little more and keep kind of just figuring out like, okay, like if I can bring value somewhere, if and I think it all starts with that. If you should focus on how do I serve someone the best? What is the best way I, Cary Miller, can serve someone else, right? Okay, I have a lot of experience wrestling. I have a lot of experience grappling. I've won some pretty good grappling competitions. It's like, okay, I could serve somebody really well with private lessons, teaching them how to grapple. You know, I can serve somebody really well by helping them with strength and conditioning, right? I can serve somebody really well, teaching them like striking to takedowns. Find like take time and find how you can actually serve somebody else, what kind of skills, and then you got to learn how to kind of like dial that in. Like that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And it takes a lot of, you should start serving first before you should ever expect a reward. If you're constantly, you know, let me get the reward before it's like that's not how you can add value to somebody. If you add value to other people, like eventually other people like you'll get value added to you. And I think coming at it with that mindset is a way more beneficial and a way more healthy way to do it. But it's still, and there's so many ways you can set yourself up and how you can leverage like the skills you have, but it all just takes like how much time do you think about like a business? How much like I see you're around the clock. You are constantly, okay, we could do this better. We can add this. I can communicate this. Like don't just think about, okay, I'm gonna clock in 9 to 5 and then if you do, then don't be mad with 9 to 5 pay.
Correct.
So it's thinking about if you're constantly working on yourself and kind of building your brand and adding to you, or like constantly trying to hike that direction, then you're going to find way more value.
So there's one more thing I want us to get to, the most important thing. You've mentioned it a couple times already. I'm tossing it up to you for you to...
I got it. So it's your faith, right? So we're a Christian-based podcast. I think everything should flow through God, right? How do you incorporate your faith in your training, in your day-to-day life? So,
I mean, I think number one, like God gave me gifts and my job is to sharpen them and work as hard as I can to show the fruits of them just to glorify him. And I think that like you can't ever pray to God, ask for things, and then like if you ask for God for to be more patient, does God give you patience, or does he give you things you should be patient with? Like if you pray to God, if you pray to God to financially bless you, it's like, okay, is he just going to hand you money, or is he going to hand you opportunities that you can work as hard as you possibly can for, that you can bear fruits from? I think kind of if you lead with how do I serve the best, how do I serve Jesus the best, I think now it isn't like a given. God's not a calculator or a vending machine where you can put this in and you get this out. But I do think when you bear him in mind at the forefront of whatever you do, you're always going to end up all right. You're always going to end up on the right side of things. And I think whenever I've come to a hard place or a tough decision, and I'm very much so someone who ends up kind of relying on myself for what I know. I've been humbled by that quite a few times, but especially over the last few months, people have helped me a lot by like reverting back to scripture or reverting back to the things that Jesus taught. And man, there's a lot of good financial advice in the Bible. I promise. I didn't realize it, but there's a lot. There's really, it is kind of like a one-stop shop. And I remember
It's amazing.
I hated hearing that growing up. I hated hearing that. I hated hearing the fact that this was like, I was like, they're like, but it was also because like I didn't really take time to see what was really in there. And if you dig, man, you're gonna find.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna like I have not found a problem that one of my friends hasn't been able to, like Isaac's basically a theologian. Some of the best, and this is a 20-year-old kid who's given me some of the best advice I've ever gotten. And it was just because he didn't rely on himself. He was like, man, I think if you just look in the Bible at what Jesus says, and then he would quote me a scripture. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do that.
Yeah. You know what's amazing? I have the exact, like, I've been applying myself to the Bible more in the Word, thanks to Nick Lewis and our Bible study.
Far from
and
perfect.
even my job right now. Like, we're very, we had a Bible study this morning. So it's every Thursday morning. It's incredible how much, if you just look into the Word, like, it does apply to your everyday life. And the answers are in there. And it's, I think it's something that until you apply yourself, like you said, like, you just hear, God will have your answers. The Bible has your answers, and then sure.
I love talking about Jesus, and this is so moving. And having you on, man, has been incredible. And like we talked about potential guests, and like this is a solid guest. And now you don't know Cary as well as I know him, and I'm sure you could see he's got so much value to add. And guys, if you're at the gym and if you don't know Cary, I guess, first of all, before we go into that, one last thing is, what is the end goal for Cary? Or does Cary just focus on the process?
Man, I think I've spent a lot of time focusing on end goals. And end goals, like you should have goals.
Yeah.
If you don't have goals, like, you're just going to keep running into a wall.
Yeah.
But I also think following the process and trusting in what God has for me is probably the best thing I can do. Obviously, like, a goal can feel like it can be the key to everything. And I can't tell you how many goals I've set and then achieved. Like being undefeated state champ. As soon as I got it done, I was like, oh, well, I thought there'd be like a lot of answers.
That's it, huh?
Yeah. Or like winning the conference the second time. Man, I was like, okay, well, that was cool, but what's or like what like IMAF was something I worked 3 years for, spent everything I had in savings, spent a lot of money on credit cards that I shouldn't have. And like, man, I thought that would be the answer. And then literally it's like they handed me the belt and you're like, okay, go have a good night. And I was like, man, it was kind of me putting things at the front of my life that shouldn't have been. And so while like I do think having goals is a good thing, and it's not that God doesn't want you to have goals, but he also doesn't want you to put something above him. Yeah. And so I think I have a lot of work to do at trying to point my compass at what God wants me to do rather than kind of what I think is best. I've done what I think is best for a long time, and it's never quite really worked out. So that's my next goal.
Wow. Well, that's
Amazing
incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love it. If anybody, if somebody lives in the Charlotte area and you need private training, obviously this guy is a solid resource to improve in the fight game. Grappling, striking to takedowns. I guess we'll link your Instagram. Link your Instagram.
What's best for people to know?
How do you want people to reach out to you?
Link my. We'll put my Instagram up. The Berserker. Come check me out.
Berserker.
All right, guys. Let's do. I don't know if you guys have anything left.
I haven't had anything since the start.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.